In the rugged expanse of the American Wild West, hygiene was often relegated to the realm of unattainable ideals. Both men and women embarking on the arduous journey westward were confronted by the unforgiving elements and treacherous landscapes, leaving little room for pursuits of cleanliness. The quest for fresh water became an enduring struggle, a vital necessity amid the harsh realities of frontier life. As pioneers traversed vast stretches of untamed wilderness, the luxury of a proper bath became a distant memory. The exigencies of survival took precedence over personal hygiene, zings and even weeks passing without respite from the grime and sweat of the trail.
In the absence of modern conveniences, the lack of adequate sanitation facilities posed a persistent threat to health and well-being. Primitive latrines, if available at all, provided little solace in the face of rampant disease and unsanitary conditions. The pervasive stench of unwashed bodies and untreated waste permeated the air, casting a pall over daily life in the Wild West. Despite the hardships endured, resilience and adaptability became the hallmark of frontier existence. Resourcefulness in the face of adversity fostered a spirit of camaraderie among pioneers, as they banded together to confront the myriad challenges of life on the frontier. In the rustic homesteads scattered across the American West, beds were often fashioned from humble materials like straw and hay, offering little respite from the harsh realities of frontier life. The scarcity of fresh bedding meant that such sleeping arrangements remained unchanged for extended periods, creating ideal breeding grounds for a host of unwelcome guests. Among these pests, lice, colloquially referred to as seam squirrels, proliferated with alarming frequency, plaguing inhabitants with incessant itching and discomfort. The prevalence of lice was but one manifestation of the broader issue of insect infestation in the Wild West. Flies, drawn by the scent of food and human waste, infiltrated living spaces with impunity, contaminating provisions and spreading disease in their wake. Meanwhile, mosquitoes thrived in the poorly insulated confines of frontier buildings, their incessant buzzing serving as a relentless reminder of the challenges posed by the natural environment. Accounts from contemporaneous observers offer vivid glimpses into the daily struggles endured by pioneers in combating these insect invaders. Rose Pender, a visitor to the American West in the late 19th century, recalled one night when she tried to sleep. "Bugs abounded, so I got very little rest. The absence of screens on windows only compounded the issue, allowing insects free rein to traverse between indoor and outdoor spaces, leaving traces of their passage wherever they went. With limited resources and rudimentary knowledge of insect biology, combating infestations proved to be a formidable challenge for those eking out a living on the frontier. Despite their best efforts to maintain cleanliness and hygiene, the omnipresent threat of insect-borne illnesses remained an ever-present reality, casting a shadow over daily life in the untamed West. In hindsight, the prevalence of insect infestations in the American West serves as a poignant reminder of the formidable obstacles faced by pioneers in their quest for survival. Beyond the romanticized narratives of frontier adventure lie the gritty realities of daily existence, where the struggle against nature's smallest adversaries was waged with tenacity and fortitude. Under such conditions, the settlers forged a new way of life amidst the untamed wilderness, leaving behind a legacy that endures to this day. In the rugged expanses of the frontier, outhouses stood as ubiquitous fixtures of daily life, offering a semblance of privacy amidst the untamed wilderness. While some settlers opted for the relative freedom of relieving themselves in the open woods, Many chose to construct outhouses near their dwellings for the sake of convenience and safety. These crude structures consisted of little more than a simple wooden enclosure perched above a hastily dug pit, serving as a repository for human waste. The odors emanating from these humble facilities were nothing short of pungent, a testament to the realities of life in an era devoid of modern plumbing and sanitation systems. To mitigate the stench, inhabitants often resorted to rudimentary methods, such as sprinkling lye or lime within the confines of the outhouse, though such efforts offered only temporary reprieve from the pervasive smell of decay. In addition to noxious odors, outhouses harbored a myriad of unwelcome guests, chief among them being insects and arachnids. Flies, drawn by the scent of human waste, congregated in swarms around these makeshift latrines, posing a constant nuisance to those unfortunate enough to find themselves within their vicinity. Black widow spiders, notorious for their venomous bite, lurked in the shadows of the wooden seats, posing a perilous threat to unsuspecting occupants. The absence of modern amenities further compounded the discomfort of utilizing outhouses, with settlers improvising makeshift substitutes for toilet paper. Leaves, corn cobs, and grass served as common alternatives, offering a modicum of hygiene in an otherwise primitive setting. Yet such makeshift solutions were often insufficient in providing adequate cleanliness, leaving individuals to contend with the harsh realities of frontier life with resourcefulness and resilience. Reflecting on the prevalence of outhouses in frontier history offers a sobering glimpse into the challenges faced by pioneers in their quest for survival. Amidst the rugged landscapes and harsh conditions of the American West, these humble structures stood as silent witnesses to the perseverance and ingenuity of those who sought to carve out a new way of life in the untamed wilderness. Though long relegated to the annals of history, their legacy endures as a testament to the indomitable spirit of the frontier. Securing access to clean water posed a formidable challenge for settlers navigating the unforgiving terrain of the Wild West. In an environment where survival hinged upon the availability of potable water, the quest for this life-sustaining resource often proved to be an arduous endeavor. The idyllic image of pristine streams and clear springs belied the harsh reality of contamination, as upstream outhouses threatened to taint nearby water sources with human waste and pathogens. The presence of stagnant water further exacerbated the issue, providing fertile breeding grounds for flies and other insects whose indiscriminate defecation only served to further compromise water quality. Puddles and pools became unwitting repositories for filth and disease, their surfaces marred by the detritus left behind by swarms of buzzing pests. Even rainwater, once considered a precious bounty in the parched expanses of the West, was not immune to contamination. Cisterns designed to capture rain runoff often fell victim to the intrusion of dust and other airborne pollutants, rendering the collected water unfit for consumption without rigorous filtration and treatment measures. In the face of such challenges, settlers were compelled to adopt stringent conservation practices in order to eke out their meager water supplies. Washing dishes and clothing became luxury items reserved for rare occasions, as families sought to stretch their dwindling water reserves to the fullest extent possible. Bathing, once a simple act of hygiene, transformed into a rare indulgence, with entire families sharing the same tub of water in a weekly ritual that spoke to the scarcity of this precious resource. Accounts from the era offer poignant insights into the significance of clean water in the daily lives of frontier inhabitants. Rose Pender's recollection of the refreshing bath she enjoyed after a 10-day drought serves as a poignant reminder of the profound impact that access to clean water could have on one's quality of life amidst the harsh realities of the Wild West. Through perseverance and ingenuity, settlers navigated the challenges of securing this essential resource, forging a way of life that was as resilient as it was resourceful. In the rugged landscape of the American West, the availability of soap was a luxury often derived from unconventional sources. Frank Clifford, a figure known by multiple aliases, including John Menham Whiteman and John Francis Wallace, chronicled his experiences in the frontier through a memoir that shed light on the ingenuity of settlers in maintaining personal hygiene. Among the indigenous practices he observed was the use of soapweed, derived from the yucca plant, by Mexican women for washing their hair. Clifford himself recounted instances of having his own hair cleansed with soapweed root, attesting to its efficacy in leaving the hair soft, clean, and lustrous. While soapweed served as a natural alternative for some, settlers predominantly relied on homemade soap, crafted from animal fat, a versatile ingredient that also found utility in candle making. However, the quality of homemade soap often fell short of modern standards, with its harsh composition posing a risk of skin irritation for those who utilized it for cleansing purposes. The prevailing attitudes towards cleanliness in the frontier era were markedly different from contemporary sensibilities, with body odor being widely accepted as an inevitable aspect of daily life. Moreover, the prevailing belief that excessive cleanliness could actually compromise one's health by opening pores to germs and disease further disincentivized regular bathing practices among frontier inhabitants. This laissez-faire approach towards personal hygiene reflected the harsh realities of life on the frontier, where survival often took precedence over comfort and cleanliness. The scarcity of resources and the demands of daily existence left little room for indulgence in modern conveniences, prompting settlers to adapt and innovate with whatever materials were readily available to them. Through their resourcefulness and resilience, frontier inhabitants forged a way of life that was as pragmatic as it was rugged, leaving behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and inspire to this day. In the rugged frontier of the Wild West, maintaining oral health often boiled down to a crude and painful practice, tooth extraction. In an era devoid of modern dental care essentials such as toothbrushes, toothpaste, and dental floss, individuals confronted with dental issues resorted to drastic measures to alleviate their pain. When a troublesome tooth reared its head, the most common solution was simply to yank it out. Without access to trained dentists, settlers turned to individuals with rudimentary medical skills, including barbers and blacksmiths, to perform the tooth extraction. Armed with little more than makeshift tools resembling pliers, these practitioners would wrench the offending tooth from its socket, often inflicting excruciating agony upon their patients. Although no pain medication was available, the numbing effects of whiskey provided a crude form of anesthesia, offering a modicum of relief amidst the ordeal. Despite the prevalence of tooth extractions, there were limited alternatives available to stave off the need for such drastic measures. However, the lack of emphasis on oral hygiene meant that preventative measures were seldom prioritized by frontier inhabitants. In lieu of regular brushing and flossing, individuals relied on communal toothbrushes found in stagecoach stop-offs and public establishments, a practice that undoubtedly contributed to the spread of dental issues and oral infections. Moreover, the absence of proper dental hygiene practices meant that individuals often resorted to using knives to dislodge food particles lodged between their teeth, a makeshift solution fraught with risks of injury and infection. In the absence of comprehensive dental care, settlers grappled with the harsh realities of dental pain and decay, enduring makeshift treatments and crude remedies in their quest for relief. The dental practices of the Wild West serve as a stark reminder of the formidable challenges faced by pioneers in maintaining their health amidst the harsh conditions of frontier life. Through sheer grit and determination, settlers persevered in the face of adversity, adapting to the limitations of their environment with resourcefulness and resilience. Though the methods may have been primitive, their legacy endures as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who forged a new way of life in the untamed wilderness. In the bustling saloons of the Wild West, a peculiar practice prevailed: the use of communal towels to wipe away beer foam. Unlike modern bars with stools, saloons of the era typically boasted rails at the bottom for patrons to lean on, alongside ubiquitous spittoons to accommodate the prevalent habit of tobacco chewing. Atop the bar, patrons might find an array of fixtures such as a cuspidor, an extra rail, or a series of hooks. These latter features served a specific purpose: to hold towels utilized by patrons to blot their mouths of excess beer foam. The communal towels, though seemingly innocuous, played a significant role in perpetuating the spread of germs and disease within the confines of the saloon. Shared among countless patrons, these towels became unwitting vectors for the transmission of pathogens, facilitating the exchange of bodily fluids and contributing to the proliferation of illness. This practice underscores the stark hygiene standards of the era, where considerations for cleanliness often took a back seat to the conviviality and camaraderie of social gatherings. Despite the potential health risks inherent in such practices, the communal nature of saloon culture fostered a sense of camaraderie among patrons who shared in the revelry and camaraderie of frontier life. The prevalence of communal towels in Wild West saloons serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by pioneers in maintaining personal hygiene amidst the exigencies of frontier life. Though seemingly trivial in hindsight, these practices offer valuable insights into the social dynamics and cultural norms of the era, shedding light on the daily realities of life on the untamed frontier. Dust permeated every corner of the Western landscape, a relentless adversary for pioneers like Sarah Atherton and her family as they traversed the rugged terrain. Mary Ellen Jones vividly recounts Sarah's struggle in her work, Daily Life on the 19th Century American Frontier. The dust was everywhere, and since early afternoon she'd been staring into the sun. Her sunbonnet offered little protection from both beating down on her. The prevalence of dust in the Wild West was not merely a nuisance but a pervasive force that infiltrated every aspect of daily life. Dust storms, propelled by heavy winds, could envelop homesteads in thick clouds of dirt and grime, posing a threat to both livestock and settlers alike. Sarah Raymond Herndon, a young girl who experienced the hardships of frontier travel firsthand, recalled the oppressive nature of the dust during her journey from Missouri to the Montana Territory in the late 1860s. "Oh, the dust, the dust. It is terrible. I have never seen it half as bad. It seems to be almost knee-deep in places. We came 20 miles without stopping and then camped for the night. When we stopped, the boys' faces were a sight. They were covered with all the dust that could stick on. One could just see the apertures where eyes, nose, and mouth were through the dust. Their appearance was frightful. How glad we all are to have plenty of clear, cold water to wash away the dust." The accounts of Sarah Atherton and Sarah Raymond Herndon offer poignant insights into the harsh realities of life on the Western frontier, where the omnipresent dust served as a constant reminder of the challenges faced by pioneers in their quest for a better life. Through their resilience and determination, these pioneers forged a path through adversity, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate with admiration and awe. The prevalence of spitting in Western saloons was so pervasive that it necessitated legislative intervention. Within the dimly lit confines of saloons scattered across the frontier, men habitually discharged streams of tobacco-laden saliva onto the floor, where spittoons and cuspidors stood sentinel along the bar. Despite efforts to contain the mess with layers of sawdust, the practice of spitting posed significant health risks, particularly as respiratory diseases, such as pneumonia and tuberculosis, ravaged frontier communities. Sawdust, though initially employed as a makeshift solution to absorb the unsightly pools of spit, proved to be a double-edged sword. Far from mitigating the spread of germs, sawdust served as an unwitting breeding ground for pathogens, exacerbating the public health hazards posed by the rampant spitting culture within saloons. Compounding the issue was the fact that many saloons also offered lodging to weary travelers who found themselves sleeping amidst the muck and filth that accumulated on the floor. In response to mounting concerns over the public health implications of excessive spitting, authorities in some areas endeavored to curtail the practice through legislative means. Measures such as banning spitting on train platforms and stations were implemented, with violators facing hefty fines, imprisonment, or both as deterrents to non-compliance. Despite these efforts, the deeply ingrained spitting culture persisted in many frontier communities, underscoring the enduring challenges of reconciling public health imperatives with entrenched social norms. The prohibition of spitting in public spaces represented a notable attempt to address the public health hazards associated with the practice. But its effectiveness was often limited by the stubborn resistance of individuals unwilling to relinquish a deeply ingrained aspect of frontier culture. Disease outbreaks were rampant across the American West, fueled by unsanitary conditions and a lack of proper infrastructure for sanitation. In the absence of separate water sources for drinking, activities such as laundry, dishwashing, and plumbing often took place in water that was also used for consumption, providing fertile ground for the spread of illness within camps and settlements. Among the most dreaded diseases of the era was cholera, a highly contagious and deadly affliction that claimed the lives of settlers and native groups alike. Throughout the 19th century, cholera outbreaks wreaked havoc among Mormon migrants, resulting in staggering death tolls that remain difficult to quantify with precision. Viewed through the lens of religious belief, cholera was often interpreted as a divine punishment and a test of faith by Mormons, adding a spiritual dimension to the physical suffering endured by affected communities. Native Americans were similarly devastated by the ravages of cholera, with outbreaks spreading rapidly from overland trails to tribal communities and nomadic groups. While cholera exacted a heavy toll on indigenous populations, it was smallpox that emerged as the most catastrophic disease for Native Americans. Nevertheless, the absence of disease was cherished as a rare blessing amidst the constant threat of illness in frontier life. Sarah Raymond Herndon's observation of a healthy camp devoid of sickness reflects the fragile equilibrium maintained by settlers amidst the ever-present specter of disease. However, the fragile peace of good health was often shattered by the sudden onset of epidemics, as evidenced by the cholera outbreak documented by Dr. J.B. Van Velsen in the Dakota Territory. Blaming Russian immigrants for introducing the disease, Dr. Van Velsen's account highlights the pervasive prejudices and misconceptions that colored perceptions of disease transmission during this period. In reality, the spread of cholera was often symptomatic of broader epidemiological trends, transcending national or ethnic boundaries to affect diverse populations across the West. The history of disease in the American West serves as a sobering reminder of the profound impact of public health challenges on the lives of settlers and indigenous peoples alike, In this difficult situation, disease outbreaks posed a formidable threat to the fragile social fabric of frontier communities, underscoring the urgent need for improved sanitation and healthcare infrastructure in the quest for a healthier and more resilient society. Hair care in the Wild West often relied on unconventional methods, with whiskey and castor oil featuring prominently in grooming routines. While Frank Clifford opted for soap-weed shampoo, others turned to whiskey-based concoctions for cleansing their locks. Mixed with castor oil and scented with lavender, this makeshift shampoo was rinsed with rainwater or water softened with borax, offering a semblance of cleanliness amidst the rugged frontier landscape. Following a thorough brushing or combing, women often styled their hair using heated pencils, adding a touch of elegance to their appearance. Gender disparities in hygiene practices were evident in the Wild West, with women generally exhibiting greater cleanliness than their male counterparts. Cowboys, soldiers, and other men often endured long stretches without bathing, relying on occasional dips in nearby streams or rivers to alleviate their lack of cleanliness. Such ablutions were typically reserved for the hot summer months, with bathing during winter months being a rare occurrence. In contrast, women like Sarah Raymond Herndon adhered to a more regular grooming routine, which included washing their faces each morning in the cool waters of a nearby spring. However, the constraints of frontier life, including a lack of privacy and a sense of modesty, limited the extent of personal hygiene practices for both men and women. While women may have washed their faces daily, opportunities for more extensive bathing were scarce. Similarly, cowboys and soldiers often went for extended periods without washing their clothing, resorting to rudimentary laundry methods in streams or rivers when the need arose. The divergent approaches to personal hygiene in the Wild West reflect the harsh realities of frontier life, where survival often took precedence over comfort and cleanliness. Through their ingenuity and perseverance, settlers navigated the complexities of daily life on the frontier, leaving behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and inspire to this day. The influence of cultural backgrounds on hygiene practices in the Wild West was profound and multifaceted. Archaeological discoveries, such as a pair of tweezers unearthed in Deadwood, South Dakota in 2005, offer intriguing insights into the diverse daily routines of frontier inhabitants. These tweezers, believed to have been used by the Chinese population in Deadwood, shed light on distinctive grooming practices prevalent among certain ethnic groups. Don Ivey, the researcher responsible for the discovery, noted that the Chinese community eschewed shaving in favor of plucking their hair, an approach reflective of cultural traditions and preferences. Moreover, the grooming habits of prominent historical figures further illustrate the diverse array of hygiene practices observed in the Wild West. Renowned figures like Wild Bill Hickok and George Armstrong Custer were known for their distinctive long hair, with Custer even indulging in the luxurious scent of cinnamon oil to adorn his locks. Cowboys traversing the frontier often sought respite in towns, where they indulged in grooming rituals such as haircuts, shaves, and hot baths, accompanied by the application of scented hair tonics for a touch of refinement. The transition from long to short hair during the late 19th century marked a significant shift in grooming trends, with shorter hairstyles gaining popularity among men. One prevailing theory attributes this shift to a rejection of antebellum norms, as society grappled with the aftermath of the Civil War and sought to redefine cultural standards. Additionally, the adoption of shorter hairstyles may have served as a practical adaptation to the rugged conditions of frontier life, where shorter hair offered greater convenience and ease of maintenance. Interestingly, The persistence of long hair among certain groups, such as Indian scouts like long-haired Jim Courtwright, underscores the enduring influence of cultural traditions amidst the evolving social landscape of the Wild West. Despite the prevailing trends towards shorter hairstyles, individuals like Courtwright maintained their distinctive long locks as a symbol of identity and heritage, defying conventional norms and embracing their cultural heritage in the face of societal change. The diverse array of grooming practices observed in the Wild West reflects the rich tapestry of cultural influences that shaped life on the frontier. From the meticulous grooming rituals of the Chinese immigrants to the rugged individualism embodied by cowboy culture, hygiene practices served as a reflection of identity, tradition, and societal norms in the dynamic landscape of the American West. From the simple yet effective remedies to the surprising innovations, it's clear that hygiene played a crucial role in the survival and well-being of individuals in the Old West. But let's not forget the lessons we can learn from history. As we embrace modern advancements in hygiene and sanitation, it's important to remember the ingenuity and resourcefulness of those who came before us. Their methods may seem primitive by today's standards, but they laid the foundation for the hygienic practices we rely on today. As we conclude our journey, I invite you to join us on future adventures through history and beyond. Subscribe to our channel to stay updated on more captivating explorations into the mysteries of the past. Don't miss out on the next episode. Hit that subscribe button now and become part of our ever-growing community of history enthusiasts.
Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.